You tell me we're going to see Edson versus Yair Rodriguez or Zabit Magomed Sharipov or Calvin Kattar. You tell me any of those, I'm in.
What's up, Barnhill family? Welcome back to the channel.
Yo.
So Nick, Edson Barboza, and Shane Burgos opened up the card with a banger last night.
Yes, they did.
Ended up being fight of the night. I heard Dana throw the monetary value of $75,000 around for all of the bonuses last night. I guess right. He was so impressed and so charged up by the card. And then on top of that, you got $4 million coming in at the live gate, so you got a little extra capital to work with. So everybody got just a little bit fatter of a bonus last night.
Yeah, and everybody should thank Tony Ferguson for that. At the press conference, he was the one kind of calling for it. He goes, Dana, we're doing so well with the company. Everybody, he called him Dana White Privilege, which I thought was hilarious. Dana thought was hilarious. And Dana actually went on to say, aside from Rampage Jackson's, Dana, it's good to be white. Saying that might be the best one he's ever heard. So Dana felt inclined to add $25,000 to everybody's bonuses, and I think that was really cool. I think that, if you open the window a little bit for that, then who knows? Somebody's going to ask for 100 next time for all the bonuses, and that could happen. And I just love that whenever you can see the fighters make a little bit more money and it incentivizes them to go out and put on a better performance, I'm all for it. And Edson Barboza, what an absolute monster. He's going out now saying he's 3-0 at 145, and it's hard to disagree with him. I know his record says 2-1 in his last 3, but everybody did kind of feel like he won that first one at 145. Shane Burgos is just tough as nails.
Yeah, I mean, that guy literally, he was knocked out, and his brain was telling his body he's knocked out, and his body was like, no, not so fast. We're not quite done yet.
Yeah. So
there was a bit of a delay, but that very scary. I mean,
never seen anything like that.
That knockdown and just being there live and seeing the way that he fell to the ground, I was very concerned that he might be very seriously injured. Thank God that he's not. He told Dana as he's walking out, I'm good. And Dana's like, yeah, you're not good. You're going to the hospital. Luckily here in Houston, Texas, I have to always give Houston the little plugs when I can. We have some of the best medical treatment in the world. I mean, people come from all over the world here to be treated. At Texas Medical Center is just down the road from the Toyota Center where the fights took place last night. So Shane's certainly in the right place. If there is a right place to be concussed, Shane is certainly there.
Right.
But the fight itself was just electric. I mean, absolutely earned fight of the night. Those guys came out swinging. Barboza was in classic Barboza fashion. Everything, and what I love about Barboza is he fights with that true Muay Thai tough style where as soon as you hit me with something, you're going to answer for it. So as soon as Burgos would throw a power shot, Edson would throw a hard leg kick. If you're going to step in and hit me with a power shot, I'm going to chop your leg. And then I'm throwing a 1-2 over the top of that. And I mean, it was just like collision after collision after collision. Mm-hmm. And, Barboza just ended up being a little bit sharper and winning, a little bit more of those exchanges, which ultimately wore Burgos down and he got the knockout. But one thing I was really impressed, and I wasn't expecting the knockout to come that way. I was actually expecting it to come via switch kick. Because we've seen a lot of knockouts that Edson's had. He's incredible with his roundhouse kicks, his just quick switch kick. It's almost no telegraphing whatsoever. But he kept throwing a really heavy switch kick to the midsection of Burgos. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I had decent seats, but I wasn't on the floor. And I was a good couple hundred feet away from where this fight was taking place. And I could see the just absolute red circle where he was tearing Burgos' midsection up with those switch kicks. And I was telling myself, I think he's going to go to the head next because he kept going to the body and Burgos started crouching down. And maybe if the fight had gone a little longer, we would have seen him disguise one of those head kicks in there. But ultimately, it was the hands that got it done. And I think that's kind of the story of Barboza's evolution. He's always been great with his kicks, but his hands are really he's coming into his own with his punching these days.
Yeah, and to throw kicks and disguise kicks, you kind of have to set him up with some hands, and a lot of people know that, but not a lot of people can master it. And he seems to throw just the right amount of punches to let those special kicks off. He is wildly accurate with his kicks, not just the standard tie kicks, the switch kicks, the low kicks, the high kicks, the spinning heel kicks and stuff. He is hitting a moving target. And, he's able to maintain a pretty good range. I found the most difficulty for Edson Barboza was happening when Shane Burgos would pressure him and try to get it into a boxing range, because then a kicker is a little bit stuffed and can't quite get the power and the range and the timing of their kicks off. But Edson Barboza was able to move back at just the right pace and just the right distance to land those crazy kicks. What's so funny is as of, I guess, a year. Well, it's been about a year now since the low calf kick has really come into play in everybody's mind, and everybody really talks about it. And nobody ever thought about what's going to happen when Edson Barboza decides to start throwing those.
Yeah,
and that's literally the first thing he started doing. And I was like, oh God, he's setting these low kicks up, and he kicks so hard. He kicked Shane Burgos' leg so hard so many times that his own shin started bleeding.
Yeah.
Which is really crazy to think about. It's one thing when you're punching and you can get a little blood going on the face, but when your shin starts bleeding because you're kicking somebody so hard, you just have to feel for Shane Burgos, because I feel like that guy is as tough as nails. And I know that the BMF title is contested at 170 generally, and it's still way up there. But if it ever creeps its way down into 145, just know that Shane Burgos earned himself a spot in the BMF contention list, because that was just insane to see him take all those types of kicks. I was thinking the same thing you were thinking. It's funny you say that. I was going, okay, he's going to go high with a switch kick, because these low kicks and the spinning kicks are set up perfectly. He's landing them. He's going to take them up as soon as Shane Burgos drops his hands. And I didn't really see the fight ending the way it did end, but it was very interesting to see Shane Burgos kind of just shut down. It was almost similar to the Rory McDonald versus Robbie Lawler shutdown. Remember, Rory was he got hit and for a second was standing there before he crumbled to the ground. It was almost like that, but even more of a delay. Kind of scary to see, but like you said, he's in good hands in Texas. So thoughts and prayers are going out to him.
Yeah, and he, obviously he earned himself a spot on the list of the BMF contenders should that belt ever make its way down to 145.
Right.
But, one thing that you see when somebody moves down a weight class, and the big talking point that everybody kind of circles around, is the power's going to be gone.
Yeah.
They're cutting too much weight. They're going to have a weak chin, and the power's going to be gone.
Yeah.
Those are the two things that, are if you make a pros and cons list for moving down a weight class, those are the cons that are pretty much on the top of everybody's list.
Right.
Edson Barboza has answered both of those cons with flying colors. He can take a punch like the best of them, just like he could at 155.
Yeah.
And his power is still ridiculous at 145. He's still knocking guys out. He's accumulating shots, and he's doing more with his hands, in my opinion, than he was doing at 55. So I think that we could really have something special here with Edson Barboza, still very young age-wise, even though he's been in the game a long time. I think he could make some noise at 145 and start taking on some top 5 guys. And my excitement meter for Edson Barboza at featherweight has gone up tremendously since last night.
Yeah, it's odd to think that he's not already in the top 5 mix, because what of the people he's fought and done well against at 155, you would think, okay, moving down to 45, kind of like a Jose Aldo situation, you're just jumping right in because we know just how good you are and just how dangerous you are. He said something interesting to me, and 9 times out of 10, you're right when you assume that somebody cuts to a smaller division because they feel like they're a little bit undersized in the division that they're at, and if they can clean up their act a little bit and live a little bit healthier and do a little more cardio, that they'll be able to make the weight down a weight class. Edson Barboza said something that I was not I had no knowledge of. He goes, I had to eat so much food to make 155, to live the 155 weight limit and be up there in the 170-ish before I would cut the weight. He goes, now
he's a small framed guy.
Yeah. I mean, he probably has one of the best bodies in the entire sporting industry. I mean, the guy looks, after a rehydration, looks like he's carved out of stone. You know, he's ripped to shreds.
I'm speaking more to like bone structure.
Yeah.
Like if you were to just strip away all the muscle and just put skeleton next to skeleton, I would venture to say he's even smaller than most guys at 145.
Yeah. And I really do like him matched up against a lot of guys. You tell me we're going to see Edson versus Yair Rodriguez or Zabit Magomed-Sharipov or Calvin Kattar. You tell me any of those, I'm in. I am
sign me up for all of that and every bit of that.
And the fact that I know that he's actually naturally a 145er with the frame and everything, that makes me even more excited and makes me feel like, he's not going to have to lug around an extra 10 pounds, but he's actually going to feel a little bit better. And, he's only had 3 fights at 145, but I feel like his gas tank and his body is getting more used to fighting down there with a little bit less, body mass to move around. I think we're going to see Edson Barboza continue to rise at featherweight.
I agree. Guys, thanks so much for watching our video. Let us know in the comments, what did you think about that incredible performance of Edson Barboza last night? And who do you think he should fight next? We always love chatting with you guys in the comments. So if you think of something good, drop us a line. And as always, if you've enjoyed the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you listen to audio podcasts, check us out wherever you listen to those too, because we're there. Have a great one, guys.
Peace.